right, we're going to do a review on a scrimmage film that we had that will go over some of the TNT stuff for the frontline guys in our defense. And some of these, we're just going to go by the big plays here, areas where we gave up some yardage, and we'll see where we fit into those things. So this first play is a 30-yard touchdown. You can watch it all the way through. It's just an ISO play that ends up running, opening up a lot of space, and he goes for the money there. Now our focus is going to be these three guys, the tackle, and nose, so TNT. Our alignment looks good outside of the guard, and then the nose should be right down the middle of the center, but based on slants and all that, he might change his spot a little bit, which I think he ends up doing because of a blitz here. So we're just going to go left to right. Left tackle here. Gets a yes block, keeps his hips in his gap. Definitely moves the man. He's replacing his feet. He's pushing back the hard shoulder. He's collapsing his area. Comes off on the backside of pursuit. The problem is he just stops. I'm not sure if he'd catch him anyway, but I'd like to see him run a little bit better. But overall, pretty good read and control of the hard shoulder. The nose goes on a slant based on the blitz of the linebacker. Gets penetration to the backfield, but not the primary guy. The play is definitely designed to go away. It's going to be tough to get that when your slant is based there. This tackle on the right side gets what we call a yes block because the man that he's focused on, that he's keying on, blocks toward him. But it's a little bit different because it's a pull. He ends up having a quick pull, and he gets blocked down from the tackle. So we treat that almost like a double team, but the difference is the inside man pulling gives us the command to pull grass. So pull means pull grass. We want that. Not only do we want to sink our hips into our gap, but we also want to reach down with our outside hand in this case and touch the ground to see if we can slip the block of the tackle and then get back into it. Okay, his initial step is off as well. It looks like he leads with his right foot when really his first step should be with his left. So we would like that inside foot to be the first step. All right, he gets washed down a little bit. Continues to fight, but that hole's pretty big. So really he should be trying to dip and rip that outside shoulder, penetrate a little bit, and pull grass if you see pull. All right, and a lot of the issues just come from the location of other guys that are still learning their techniques as well. So move on to the next one. This is a 20-yard touchdown run we gave up on a jet sweep. We'll watch it all the way through first. Okay, you can tell just one rep in, it's probably not going to be a major TNT issue, so we'll break down more of the details. Left side D tackle gets a yes block or a reach block. He does a great job of not getting reached. He goes straight forward a little bit too much, but once he recognizes it, you can see his hips swing to the left so that he stays in the correct relationship with the man. Okay, fights to get off it. His pursuit angle should be pretty deep based on the speed of the running back. So he probably goes a little too flat and excludes himself from the play. I'd like to see him run all the way towards the goal line. Okay, for the nose. Okay, we watch the nose. Should be based on the blitz. He should be slanting to this A gap. All right, so unless that backer was actually supposed to go to this gap, somebody should be in this A gap regardless. So if our call was to send the backer to this gap, we should have a better slant here, and maybe we make the play or get a hand on him. Or if we're supposed to slant here, the backer should be in there quicker. Nothing really happens with these two in this gap, and it should. As far as the takeoff and the hands and penetrating, we win by a couple yards, so we're winning the strength game there. All right, the far right tackle. Okay, jet sweep away is not going to be your play mostly, but get sort of a scoop block away. It's sort of, I would call that a no block. He should be trying to get his hands on him so that man can't touch our linebacker. Should be trying to occupy enough so that linebacker can be free, which he does. I don't think the backer gets hit very much. So pretty good job. And then his path should be right down the line and into pursuit. So watch that. Okay. And he guesses wrong. He ends up going over here. He's in a big cluster. If he thinks he has the ball, that's probably the play he would make more likely anyway. So that's just making him guess when he couldn't see it. So overall, his technique was pretty good. Okay, we got a 15-yard completed pass. As far as TNTs are concerned, I think we're getting upfield very well considering we see so much run. We get guys gaining ground. The ball has to get out within a second and a half. They end up throwing a slant, I think. Can't get the whole film. But to throw that guy, we obviously let a man inside. Our pressure was pretty good, though. So TNT's pretty solid on that one. Got a 14-yard gain on a counter here. All right, we'll just go left to right on our screen. So in this case, it's the, we'll still call it left tackle. Guy on the left here. Okay, he's outside shade of this guard. He's out a little bit more because there looks like there's going to be a stunt here. So let's check what he gets. Okay, he gets a down block here. Okay, which should put him into that B gap pretty hard. Okay, he gets occupied. The problem is, if he's responsible for B gap, there shouldn't be anybody getting in here super easy down to our nose. We shouldn't get our nose blocked off. As far as the nose himself, okay, it looks like the call we sent in was to get the backer to the right A gap, so the nose should be heading this way anyway, which is pretty good. It would have been nicer to have the defensive tackle either get vertical himself or maybe hold off that guard a little bit so someone could be in here a little bit more. Okay, and then on the back side, the right side tackle, he has another blitzer coming, which looks like he's going to be shooting the B gap, so we should be having a slant. Okay, so we step more vertical here, and really we should be slanting anyway because we have a backer coming outside of us. So if we could have the rest of this play with this man about, a few pixels away, if he started here, if he was here at this point in the play and continued to follow this A gap here, right, because the A gap's really moving, all right, he might have been in a great spot. So really where you see it, that backside tackle ends up behind this blocker, and if he was in front of him, that would be a much better situation because we have a man outside this blocker. It'd be nice if he was right in between, and then we have some flow on the backside. So we lose a little bit just because of all the way back to that first step of that slant. This really should be him slanting and reading the center's hip instead of getting so caught up with this guard. So he should be slanting down. The center's hip goes away so that we consider that a no block. This should be down and down the line. If his pattern was to that center's hip and down the line, we might have a big tackle for loss on a counter play. All right, so that's definitely stuff to look at there. All right, completed pass here. Okay, another decent rush. I mean, the ball's out in about a second and a half, maybe even less. So we just have to make those plays. Those are techniques from the guys in the back. But the TNTs reacted pretty solid on that one. All right, last one we'll do is a 10-yard touchdown on a counter crisscross. So let's watch it all the way through, then we'll just go one guy at a time. Okay, so early on is where we make we do all our work. So let's take this TNT to start, that tackle. Got a blitzer coming in his area. Can't totally tell which way he's going, but really, if we're blitzing to gaps, if he's going to this gap and I'm going to this one, I got to see that gap move. We shouldn't both end up inside of this puller. One would be plenty. So really, whoever is supposed to be there should be chasing this gap here, getting outside of it. So that would have been a better relationship. And the risk is good. If we make this play by getting vertical and making a play, great. But we go so far upfield, we're a little bit off balance. So officially, the block is a yes block. It's a pull, so we should be pulling grass until we avoid the back block from the tackle. We never even get that back block, so now we're just looking to penetrate and get in there, which we do. Now it's just breaking down our feet. Really, we get two guys in here, and we both choose the backside, and we get outrun. So excellent effort. Just got some work to do. All right, moving on to the nose. Okay, the nose is slanting away because he knows we have either a slant here or a backer coming here, so he's going to take this gap. So great first step with his slant side foot. The center is trying to block him. That's what we call a yes block. So in that case, we're just hoping that we can kind of hold our ground even when we slant. So he's slanting this way, but the inside man of the gap is starting to push him, and we don't want to give so much ground. Easier said than done as always, but if he can dig and stay vertical instead of chasing out here, that would have helped us. But really, counter crisscross with all that action going on, it's tough. It's tough to ask him to do that perfectly because he might be thinking about the quarterback. That might be taking him where he's going, or the first man getting the ball. It's tough to ask him to do it. Overall, his technique's pretty good. He gets a yes block. He's keeping his hips in his gap. He's penetrating correctly without being out of control. He's doing a good job. This tackle here, we'll finish with this. He's in a good alignment, outside shade of the guard. Let's see what he gets for a block. Okay, immediately he gets a yes block in the form of a base block. So yes, he wanted a piece of me, and he's not trying to reach me, so it's just a base block. So this inside shoulder is the hard shoulder. We tell him on yes blocks, keep your hips in your gap, fight the hard shoulder. His hips are definitely in his gap. He's not giving a lot of ground. Now, this is a move I love right here. He thinks to chase here, which is fine because we're seeing a lot of action and I'm the D tackle on that side. But what I love is after he stalemates that base block, his pursuit is not lazy and underneath. He shifts his feet right here and he chooses to go over the top, which is the best pursuit you can get. And he almost gets himself in the mix here. Makes a slight mistake, plus this blocker does a pretty good job. All right, but this is our backside D tackle in the mix of pursuit. So a few more reps of practicing that and maybe taking a better lane this way, and a backside D tackle makes a play on a counter crisscross. That's pretty good.